confirming that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah.
Let's dive into the latest Hollywood drama. Rikel, the sensation known for her socially charged stunts, has landed in hot water, this time over her bold comments on Disney's classic Snow White 1937 and its so-called stalker prince. In a series of interviews, Rikel didn't hold back, sharing her thoughts on the film. But not everyone appreciated her take. What started as an opinion quickly turned into a full-blown controversy, with Backlash threatening the reputation she's built over the years. Feeling the heat, Rikel took to Instagram, posting a video where she claimed her words were being deliberately twisted. She painted a picture of being unfairly targeted, saying that as an actor, she's constantly subjected to public scrutiny, no matter what she does. And while she acknowledged that her remarks had an impact, the debate over Snow White and Hollywood's evolving narratives continues to rage on. Is this just another case of overblown outrage, or is Rikel truly facing a career-defining moment?
Inside my brain. And I'm there 24/7, I can't get out of it. As a huge Disney fan like all of you, this is the biggest dream come true I could possibly.
Rikel is now in full damage control mode, clarifying that she never meant any disrespect. But the big question remains, could this backlash spell the end of her Hollywood dream? As this unexpected scandal unfolds, we're left wondering, can Rikel weather the storm, or is this the moment that changes everything? And just when you thought things couldn't get more intense, there's another layer to the drama. Disney's next big remake is set to hit theaters in March 2024, starring none other than Rachel Zegler, best known for her roles in West Side Story and The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But this Snow White adaptation isn't just making headlines for its modern take. It's also fueling controversy. Some fans aren't happy with Disney's changes, while others have questioned Zegler's casting as the iconic princess due to her mixed Colombian and Polish heritage. But here's where things get even more heated. Zegler hasn't just upset the usual critics. She's managed to spark debates across the board. Is this just another case of Hollywood outrage, or is there something deeper at play? The controversy surrounding Disney's live-action Snow White just keeps getting bigger. Some critics are obsessed with preserving the so-called purity of animated princess bloodlines, but this debate goes far beyond just casting choices. Recently, people from all political and racial backgrounds seem to have issues with 22-year-old Rachel Zegler. But why? Well, it all started when old interview clips resurfaced, showing Zegler discussing the film's progressive changes. And let's just say, her words didn't sit well with everyone. Back in 2022, at the D23 Expo, Zegler, who had just been announced as the lead in Disney's Snow White, enthusiastically shared details about the upcoming adaptation. She mentioned that the classic fairy tale was being reimagined to fit today's more progressive times. Now, this isn't exactly new. Disney made similar updates in Beauty and the Beast, but here's the catch. It wasn't just what Zegler said, it was how she said it. While explaining the film's modern approach, she took a shot at the original 1937 classic, calling it outdated. And that's where things started spiraling out of control. So, is this just another case of Hollywood modernization sparking unnecessary outrage? Or did Zegler actually cross the line? During her interviews, Rachel Zegler didn't hold back on her opinions about the original Snow White, 1937, calling it a product of the 1930s with outdated themes. She specifically criticized the film's focus on a love story with a prince. She described as a stalker, even mocking it in a sarcastic tone. According to Zegler, her version isn't about romance at all. It's about Snow White discovering her true self. She called this shift wonderful, emphasizing that the film would reflect a more modern perspective. In another resurfaced interview with Entertainment Weekly, Zegler admitted that as a child, she actually found the animated Snow White so scary that she avoided watching it for over a decade. She only revisited it while preparing for her role. She claimed the original story promoted outdated ideas about a woman's place in the world and explained that in the new version, the famous phrase, "the fairest of them all," won't mean the most beautiful anymore. It'll mean the most just. Now, you might be thinking, this doesn't sound that controversial, so why is the internet losing its mind? A huge wave of TikTok users across all corners of the platform are fired up about Zegler's remarks. And the backlash comes down to a few key reasons. Fans of the original Snow White feel disrespected. They see Zegler's comments as dismissive toward a beloved childhood classic. People are comparing her attitude to other Disney stars. Many users are sharing clips of the Little Mermaid's Halle Bailey, praising how she promoted her film with positivity, without bashing the original. Some argue that Zegler completely misinterpreted the film. They don't see the prince as a stalker and believe Snow White was always about her friendships with the dwarfs. And then there's the love story debate. Some fans are questioning why romance is being treated like a bad thing. They ask, when did wanting love become a problem? And of course, there's one more major issue brewing. But we'll get to that next.
Snow White. This is Rachel Zegler. Her incredibly off-putting personality is not the only thing you will get out of Rachel Zegler while talking to her. She will remind you that she hates Snow White.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
Now fans, especially white Disney fans, aren't exactly thrilled about the actress leading the remake, given her reckless remarks and careless attitude. Despite playing the iconic role of Snow White, some critics feel Zegler might not be the right person to promote the film. Well, Rachel Zegler is a big-name star, no doubt. She's taking on one of Disney's most famous fairy tale characters. But instead of following in the footsteps of stars like Halle Bailey from The Little Mermaid, who embraced her role with grace, Zegler has actively chosen to spotlight her version of the story. While that's not necessarily wrong, some feel she's disrespecting the original Disney film with her dismissive attitude toward its legacy. Zegler's constant comments on how she's reimagining the story have stirred controversy. In one interview, she jokingly attacked the male lead, suggesting his role wasn't as important as hers, even insinuating that his scenes could be cut from the movie. This has raised eyebrows, especially given that the 1937 Snow White was all about the romantic love story between Snow White and the prince. But here's where it gets interesting. Fans are questioning if Zegler's self-centered attitude is undermining the wholesome fairy tale values Snow White was meant to represent. Some argue that her comments make her seem obnoxious and detached from the very heart of the character she's portraying. Is this new progressive direction really worth all the backlash, or is Zegler crossing a line? Portray, however, this situation also TIIs the classic trend we see all over TikTok and social media. Criticism of one person becomes the ticket to likes and followers. It's like hopping on the digital bandwagon, and unfortunately, Zegler has found herself caught in the whirlwind. While some find her awkward charm refreshing, others see her as too casual and even annoying. Take, for example, January of last year, when Zegler faced backlash for posting a dramatic reading of Britney Spears' tweet during a public feud with her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears. Many defended her, calling it her way of standing up for Britney, but some just couldn't let it slide. Now the big question is the backlash against Zegler being blown out of proportion? Some fans point out how her critics seem to overlook the times she expressed love for Disney and her genuine excitement about playing Snow White. There are even defenders who appreciate Zegler's relatable, down-to-earth persona, especially in comparison to a new generation of celebs embracing a more authentic approach on social media and the red carpet. But how is Zegler handling all this? Well, she hasn't addressed the storm directly, but her tweets suggest she's aware of the backlash. Alongside retweeting supporters, she's shared messages encouraging kindness in the world. In one reply, she even hinted that she might be feeling overwhelmed, saying she thinks it's over. This could have sparked more empathy for her, but instead, some fans are still upset about what she said. One fan even posted, sarcastically pointing out, "It's funny how Rachel talks down about Snow White, but Snow White dealt with a rude, negative stepmother for 14 years and still stayed positive. How does Rachel handle negativity? By crying online? Pathetic." Another fan commented, "Actors should voice their personal views so we can get a feel of who they really are." Zegler is a perfect example of that. She took the role for fame and money.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
Not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really